why do we sometimes just not feel God? Sometimes it's because we get distracted by other things. We have a million messages coming at us through cell phones and texts and billboards and commercials on the radio and TV and conversations and just everything a day. We have our to-do list and we rush to get it done. It's pretty easy to get distracted. In Luke chapter 10, verses 38 and 40, or through 40, Jesus and his disciples are on a journey. They're headed somewhere, and they come by Mary and Martha's house. And Mary and Martha were the sisters of Lazarus. Remember, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. He was his friend. So in this passage here, Luke tells us they're coming by, and it says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, they came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him, and she had a sister named Mary who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by the preparations that had to be made. Now, if you've read this story, you know that after this, it goes on to say that Martha actually gets upset. And she steps out of the kitchen into the living room and says, Jesus, my sister's just sitting on her duff while I'm in here working myself to death. That's my translation of it, okay? She says, I'm working my fingers to the bone. Tell her to get up and help me. And Jesus says something really interesting to her. He says, Martha, Martha, you are worried about many things, but there's really only one thing that's important, and Mary has chosen it. And it will not be taken away from her. And here's the lesson I think that Jesus is teaching us here. Preparations are important, but priorities are more important. Okay? Preparations, our to-do list, our tasks, the things that we feel like we have to get done this day or this week, those are important. But our priorities are more important. He's saying, Martha, Mary has concluded that it's not every day you get the Son of God sitting in your family room on your couch. And I know those sandwiches that you're making are real important. But we'll get together and make some sandwiches later. We'll help you do the dishes, no big deal. Mary said, you know what? If Jesus is sitting in my house, nothing else matters. I'm at his feet. I want to hear every word he's got to say. And so it was her priorities that drove her to say, you know, the dishes can wait. This is important. And we need to grab onto that because it's important to get the things done that you feel like you have to get done, and life will throw all kinds of urgent things at you that will scream, you have to do this, you need to do this, you've got to get this done. And I'm not saying that those aren't important, but please always remember, it's kind of like Martin Luther said when he was approached about his busyness, and they said, you're so busy, how do you have time to pray? He said, I'm too busy not to pray. How can I not start my day with prayer when I have all this to do? I need God. Right? And so we need to always make God our first priority and start our day with him in our life, seeking him, making sure that we keep that first priority first. And sometimes when we don't, we just get all caught up in our to-do list. We wake up and say, where are you, God? He didn't go anywhere. We just forgot to spend time with him. And just like any relationship, you can be really close to somebody, but if you don't talk to them for a month or two or three, you kind of start to fall out.